Okay, so hey guys, so today's video is going to be my first installment in my Best in Beauty for this year. I am super excited to talk to you guys about my favorite products that I used throughout the entire year, and there are some really exciting new palettes that I want to talk about, and I'm going to be mentioning my favorite eye products. If I seem a little bit off in this video, it's because I did have a drink, so please forgive me, but I really wanted to start recording this video. I was just like too excited to start filming it, and I wore like a really excited, like colorful, fun look today because I wore my Maleficent shirt, so I really just wanted to start recording it today. I was going to do it last night, but then I didn't have time, and I was wearing my R2-D2 dress because I saw Rogue One last night, and it was freaking awesome. So I just want to jump right in for you guys and talk about some amazing eyeshadow palettes that I used throughout the year. I just want to move some of the older ones that I'm not really using out of the way. Oh, the struggle. Okay. So the first two I want to mention are probably my two favorite eyeshadow palettes that I used this past fall and basically have been so consistent throughout the entire year. I have fallen in love with these eyeshadow palettes, and I don't care about the controversy about this brand because literally these eyeshadow palettes are freaking amazing, and they're literally just such bomb quality that I really needed to mention them more. It wouldn't be a Best in Beauty video for me, and I'm talking about the Lime Crime Venus 1 and Venus 2 palettes. These two palettes, these two palettes are literally amazing. I probably have talked about them like constantly in my favorites videos, but I had to mention them again because I literally fell in love with these this past year. I used them so much this past year. And they're just, the pigmentation on these are freaking phenomenal. And the color selection is gorgeous. I just love everything about these palettes. And the pigmentation is just, like, this is one swipe. Like, that's insane. That's the color Venus. And then Aura is my favorite color. That's in the first palette. Like, these swatches are insane. So beautiful. And then I really love Muse, which is that really beautiful matte red color. Again, these are all one swipe of each shadow. And then Creation. I'm like literally like barely dipping my finger into them. And that's what it looks like right there. Literally gorgeous. I can't get enough of these Lime Crime Venus palettes. They're literally phenomenal. And then I got to dive into the second palette. I almost dropped it. I got to dive into the second palette this year, and I used it so much this past year, and oh my god, it's amazing. It's just as good as the first one. The blendability is amazing. Like literally, these shadows, like in both of the palettes, they just blend onto your eyes. Like, it's crazy how amazing they are easy to blend, and I just can't seem to not use anything else sometimes. So I just wanted to swatch a couple of these for you. This one is Mustard. Let's just do, this one is not, it's a little bit drier than the other ones, but still it swatches beautifully. That one is Mustard, and this one is Mud. Right here, I'm like pointing to nothing. This one right here above it, and then Jam. Like literally I lived in these three shades this past fall. This shade is called Jam right here. Again, pigmentation is freaking off the chain. Like, you can see for yourself. Wow, I just got makeup on me. That was really special, Caitlin. Damn. Okay. Hopefully that's better. Does that look okay? Oh my god, I'm like so mad right now. Hold on one second. Oh my god, I'm like really mad. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, sorry about that. So, yeah, I freaking love these palettes, and let's put them away before I swatch my own face again, because that was like literally really special. So yeah, I love these. I highly recommend these if you're looking for shadows that just blend easily. Like if you don't have time to spend the time to blend eyeshadows in the morning. These just like blend themselves, like they're phenomenal. I love them. And then my other favorite palette of the year, and probably my favorite palette of all time now, literally this brand knocked it out of the park with a lot of their products, and I kind of fell in love with the brand this year. I used to be so like against this brand, not because of like what they have said or anything like that. I just feel like they were so hyped up and so popular for like ridiculous reasons that I was just like, you know, what do I need them for? Why does everybody love them so much? But now I really realize why people do love them so much is because their brand is so bomb. And I'm talking about the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I probably have mentioned like a million times that this is like one of my favorite palettes of all time now, if not my favorite palette. And the reason why mine is so clean, because people keep on complaining about the packaging of this, is because I'm keeping it in the box. And that's why mine is staying very clean and not getting like eyeshadow all over it. So I suggest, if you don't like that velvet packaging, I mean, I kind of love this because I feel like it's so nice and soft. But I suggest you keep it in the box if you're like worried about it getting dirty. Like that's what I do. But enough about the packaging. Let's just talk about the actual shadows. I have used every single shade in this palette. I can consistently say I've used every single shade because I feel like every single shade works for what type of look that you're going for. There are some palettes that I have that I'm going to talk about that I haven't used every single shade in. And I think that these shadows are so pigmented, so easily blendable, and they just work so beautifully. Like the shimmers are amazing and they're super buttery when you dip your fingers in. This is Vermeer and this is Primavera. They're like right here. They're both beautiful, and then I'll swatch like look at that. It's like barely touching it and it's just so pigmented. That one is Venetian Red on the top right there. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter than some of the colors in the Lime Crime palette. And then Love Letter is one of my favorite shades as well. I cannot get enough of this freaking palette. It is so amazing. And let's do let's do Raw Sienna. Raw Sienna and I believe Burnt Orange are both permanent shades in her line, and I was so happy to try. Like, her mattes are amazing. They blend out so well, and I'm going to talk about more of her mattes in just a second. But her mattes are so buttery, and they blend so easily. Like, they're so beautiful. So this one is Venetian Red. Wait, no. This one is Love Letter, and this one is Raw Sienna. So those are all from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. Let's kind of wipe some of this stuff off so we can swatch more palettes. But I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record because this palette is phenomenal, and it is still available because this is her only permanent palette in her line right now. I know that everybody was trying to get their hands on the Master by Mario palette. I unfortunately didn't get my hands on it because it was sold out by the time I wanted it, and I couldn't really afford anything this past month. So I did get my hands on this like 2 months ago, and I was like, okay, I'm finally going to try out an Anastasia palette because everybody keeps on hyping this damn palette up. And I was certainly not disappointed. This palette is bomb. I love it. I really haven't used it in a little while though, but I want to dive into it again soon because I am never disappointed with any look that I come up with from this palette. It's just, you need it. You just need it if you don't have it. Honestly, it's a staple in my collection now, and I don't think I could live without it now because it's become my holy grail palette. I think that the shades are phenomenal, and it's just such a great palette. So, and then my other favorite palette of the year was the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I know that a lot of people were trying to get their hands on this palette, and I know that it just recently relaunched, but I can't not talk about this. I know that there's been a lot of controversy going on about Too Faced right now and the whole peach scandal, and how like people are getting the wrong products shipped to their house, and honestly I think it's kind of bullshit that's what's going on. But I did use it throughout the year, so I do have to mention it. First of all, the packaging is like to die for. I think it's so freaking cute, and I really do love the smell of this palette. But you can literally like smell it right through the packaging, and it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I can smell it right now, but I love the smell because I love the smell of peaches. And it's just, I really even love the smell more as soon as you open it. But honestly, this palette was so pretty for me. I used this consistently throughout the entire summer. This was my go-to summer palette. I said that the Sugar Pop palette was going to be my go-to palette, but honestly, this was my go-to. As soon as I got it, I couldn't stop using it. I think it's so gorgeous. And my favorite shade in the palette was Luscious. And it's still my all-time favorite shade from this palette. Like, I just have an obsession with this eyeshadow. It's just so beautiful and so reflective and so pigmented. I would use it as a face highlighter a lot, too, throughout the summertime. Like, look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? And then I'll swatch, like, a couple of the matte shades. I also really love this Nectar shade. I think that they swatch really well. That's the Nectar shade right above it. And then let's do like the mattes are a little bit rough when you dip your fingers in, but they are gorgeous and they do swatch really nicely. And I use like these two shades every single time I use the palette. This one is Summer Yum and this one is Puree. Look how pigmented those are, and they apply just as nicely on the lid. I mean on the crease and everything. I really do feel like this was the last consistent palette that Too Faced made. I know some people hate this and some people absolutely love it. I personally love this palette. I don't think that their quality is as consistent and as good anymore as it used to be when this palette came out. I feel like after this palette came out, I feel like their consistency kind of went downhill. And I'm a little bit upset because you guys know that Too Faced is like my favorite brand ever, but I don't think they're my favorite brand anymore after what's been going on. But that's all Estee Lauder's fault. And I know that MAC is also owned by Estee Lauder, but they definitely do a banging job with MAC, and I feel like they just care more about MAC than they do about the other companies that they've been buying. But honestly, I really do love this palette, and I couldn't not mention it, so... And then an old school palette, but you guys know this wouldn't be a Best in Beauty video if I didn't mention this palette. I use this palette so consistently that I had to mention it again, and I'm talking about the Urban Decay Electric palette. I really only have two Urban Decay palettes to mention because I do really love Urban Decay palettes, and I feel like they've been slaying the game lately, and I have picked up a lot of Urban Decay palettes this past year. But I just picked up a recent one and I'm still trying it out, so I couldn't mention it yet because I literally just tried it out today, like on my lid. It's their new After Dark palette. But I don't really have any other palettes that I use as consistently as this one. I love their Naked palettes, but it's like, why would I mention those when I've mentioned them a million times before? So I just wanted to give this palette a quick shout out because this is actually getting discontinued, which I think it's getting discontinued, which really does suck because this palette is amazing, and I think it's the best colorful palette that I own. Like, look at those colors. And I'm wearing this shade Freak in my crease, along with other colors from the other palette. And I just think that these shades are so pigmented, and I know mine looks a little bit jacked up, not even from using it too much, but because I did drop it once. And I really am surprised I've never hit any, that I've never hit pan on any of these, because I use this so much throughout the year. But I just think that these are phenomenal. I don't know if I'm going to swatch any because they always stain my hand. Let's just swatch one of them. Oh my god, like, I can't do this right now. I don't know why I'm recording right now. I'm like drunk as fuck. I only had one drink though. Like, it's really sad on how much of a lightweight I am. So this one is Chaos, the blue one right there, and this one is Revolt. They're just gorgeous, and if you don't own this palette, again, what are you doing? Because the colorful shades in this palette are just to die for, because they're pressed pigments. Like, Urban Decay just literally slayed the game this year, and I think they've become my all-time favorite brand. I've been using them a lot consistently. I used their Moondust palette yesterday, and I've been using their Naked palettes all throughout the year, and they're always a brand that I go back to. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it an Urban Decay day because literally there's really nothing that I don't like from Urban Decay except for maybe like one or two products. I would have mentioned the Alice Through the Looking Glass palette, but I really didn't use that all that much this year. But I did want to mention one other Urban Decay palette that I kind of fell in love with, and this is one of the Naked palettes. This is the Urban Decay Naked Ultimate Basics palette, and this is probably one of the only neutral palettes that I'm going to be mentioning. I know that I I really just wanted to mention things that I used from like September on and really use consistently and put them to the test enough to mention to you guys. And I think I got this around September or October, and I really did fall in love with this. I think it's a really amazing go-to like neutral palette, and I think that the colors are very easy to use, that I feel like it's very hard to mess up with this palette. And I feel like it comes up with a very natural look on the eyes, that it's like you can't really go overboard with them because they're all such beautiful matte shades. And I really do think they did a bomb job on this. And the reason why I got this is because I don't have the two other smaller Naked Basics palette, and I don't have an all matte palette from Urban Decay, so I was like, I felt like this was right up my alley. I know some people said that you don't really need this palette if you have the other Naked palettes, but I don't know, I just really wanted more matte options that I really like just started doing like all matte eyes, and I would just add like one shimmery shadow on the inner corners, and it really was a beautiful look. And I feel like it was very easy to just throw on these eyeshadows, and I just think they were very easy to use. And I think that this is a great palette for beginners as well, because they're very light shadows that you can just throw on and be out the door. So those are the two like highlighting shades in the palette. You probably can't even see the other one. Let's do like a darker one. That's Faith, and this one is Blow. Like, they're so pretty, and they swatch gorgeously. So yeah, I really did fall in love with this. I was using this really consistently when I first got it. I probably haven't used it. I used it like last week, like once, but I definitely love this palette too. I wanted to really mention like new palettes this year that I used a lot more than other palettes, and I kind of only have like 5 palettes to share with you, but I feel like I'm always using like my Makeup Geek shadows with like other lid shades rather than palettes sometimes. So the last 2 palettes I have to share with you, the first one, I'm not sure if I picked this up last year or this year, but I wanted to mention it again because this palette is so good, and I gravitate towards using this palette quite a lot. This is the Tarte Tartelette in Bloom palette. I'm pretty sure I got it last year, and maybe I did mention it last year in my Best in Beauty, but I feel like it was too new that I probably didn't. So this is the palette. The packaging, first of all, is freaking gorgeous, and this is just a really easy neutral palette to use again as well. A little bit more pigmented than the Ultimate Basics palette, and plus it smells so good. It smells like vanilla. I love the scent of this, and just I, as you can see, have used a lot of the shades. Some of the Tarte writing on some of the pans have completely worn off, especially Flower Child. I love this color, and I use this every time as like my transition shade. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Like, look how pigmented those are for neutrals, like, and they're super buttery. And then Funny Girl I really love as well. That's one of the shimmery shades. That one is Funny Girl, and that one is Flower Child. I know I have swatches literally everywhere, but I would be lying if I didn't say, like, I've swatched these, like, 10 gajillion times on my channel. And then this one is the really pretty, like, matte red shade. Like, look how pigmented that is. That one is called Leader. That is crazy pigmented. Like, the only downfall of this palette, like, I love it and I use it so much. But the only thing is that I feel like some of the colors don't show up true to color. Like, Sweetheart, it doesn't really show up like a blushy toned pink shade. It kind of shows up more of just like a very neutral brown, which is kind of weird, but it does swatch very pink, but it doesn't really show up that pink when you like apply it. So that's that one right there. And it's very pretty, but I don't know why it just like doesn't really show up properly when you apply it to your crease or anything like that. So that's that palette. And then the last eyeshadow palette I wanted to mention is the Manny MUA Makeup Geek palette. I'm not even mentioning this because it's Manny MUA. It's just because I used this palette so much this past year because I thought that the color selection was just so freaking bomb in this palette. The reason why I have hit complete pan on one of the shades in this palette is because this is my all-time favorite transition shade, which is called Beaches and Cream, and I have went through 2 pans of that before this. So I just wanted to mention that this is my transition shade and that it was in this palette, so I used the entire thing up. But this shade, Luna, is so beautiful. I used it so much this year, and I just can't get enough of it on my lid. It is so gorgeous. See if I have any room to swatch it. It's like right here. Look at that. It's so beautiful. I love that shade so much. And then this other shade, Sora, was like one of my favorite mattes to use. This one right here, that one is Sora. They just swatch so gorgeously. And then this shade, Insomnia and Mars. Mars is a little bit rough, but once you apply it to the lid, it's like so bomb. This one is Insomnia, that beautiful dual chrome shade, and this one is Mars, which is that gorgeous matte red. So I think he did a freaking phenomenal job on it, but we all know who makes the formulas. Makeup Geek makes the formula. He just slaps his name on it. With any other kind of collaboration, I know I'm not trying to sound harsh, but that is the truth. But they knocked it out of the park with this palette, and I absolutely love it. I use this palette so much. I love it. And yeah, that's it for eyeshadow palettes. Now let's move on to some single eyeshadows. The first one that I really wanted to make a mention to and that I really have been falling in love with this past year are the Kat Von D Metal Crush shadows, and I have used these consistently throughout the year except for these 2 colors, but they are so beautiful when you apply them to the lids, and I would have to say my favorite one out of the ones that I have is the shade Thunderstruck, and I know that like so many people have this shade and it was like so hyped up for like a really long time, but I used this like crazy when I first got it. I used this so much on my inner corners and as an actual face highlight. Like this was the only other eyeshadow I would use as a face highlight besides the color in the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. And it is just so gorgeous. It has this like crazy like dual chrome effect to it, and it's just so breathtaking on the inner corners, like, and it's so buttery and so smooth, and that's the color right there. Like, come on, Kat. Like, you created like one of the best eyeshadows ever. I would take this over Jeffree Star any day. Thank you very much. Like, look at that shade. So freaking beautiful. And then I have Dulce and Raw Power. Raw Power is like so pretty. I just used this like a week or so ago. That's the shade right there. That is one swipe too. Like, these do have fallout, don't get me wrong. It's not like they're free of fallout because they have some hella fallout. But once you put them on, they're literally so gorgeous. And then I have Dulce, which is a really beautiful like fiery red color. I really want to use this again soon. And that's that shade right there. Too many eyeshadows, man. Too many eyeshadows. And then I have Paranoid. I'm just going to swatch one of the colorful ones. It's this really gorgeous, like, electric blue. God, it's so pretty. That is Paranoid right there. Look at that color. Isn't that insane? Like, they're so pigmented. Like, Kat Von D, you, like, slay me with your products. Like, and I don't care that this is, like, that these are expensive. Like, they're so worth it. Like, I feel like these are the only eyeshadows in Sephora right now that are worth every single penny. I think that they're amazing. I did used to have the full size of the Synergy shade, which I do love as well. But since I have it in one of her palettes, I returned the full size because then I could just get the money back for it. And then the other single shadow I wanted to mention is the Urban Decay eyeshadow in the shade Midnight Cowboy. I know that this is a very old shadow and a lot of people have this, but Urban Decay did do a birthday promo for Ulta this year where you would get a free full-size Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy eyeshadow. And then this next year, like throughout the whole year, they're going to be letting you pick one shade of this formula, and it doesn't have to be Midnight Cowboy. There's like 6 different options. I'm like, that is amazing. So this is the shade right here. It's so pretty. I never owned this before that, and I was like, well, if I'm getting it for free from Ulta, why do I need to buy it for? Look at it, look at it, look at it. It's so pretty. Right there, it has like a pinky undertone. I don't even know. It's gorgeous. I can see why this shade is so goddamn popular with other people. So I love that too. And then of course this wouldn't be a Best in Beauty video without me mentioning my precious and beloved Makeup Geek shadows. I accidentally grabbed a wrong palette. I accidentally grabbed a blush palette. Hold on one second. Wow, I am so dumb. I almost forgot to mention this other palette from Too Faced. I would have like kicked myself if I forgot to mention this. This is the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette. I'm like, oh my god, I need to mention this palette too. Like, what is wrong with me? So, this is what the palette looks like. I think it's so adorable, and this palette is so good. Like, it's so consistent throughout across the board. Every single shade is beautifully pigmented. These blend so beautifully. They blend like butter. I know it's called Peanut Butter and Jelly palette, but honestly, they are literally like butter. They blend beautifully, and my favorite shade is Bananas, which is that really gorgeous gold shade. Like, look at that pigment. And then Nuts About You is also gorgeous. I used this palette so much when I first got it. And then Peanut Brittle. Like, come on. That's Nuts About You, that's Bananas, and that's Peanut Brittle. So freaking gorgeous. Yeah, I use this palette a lot, and I definitely love this palette as well. And then, of course, I have to mention my Makeup Geek shadows. So let's just go through a couple of the neutrals first. You guys know I get so tired of talking about these, though, because I talk about them all the time. But I just wanted to mention Creme Brulee again. Creme Brulee has consistently been my favorite shadow this year. As you can see, I hit major panage on it. Vanilla Bean is amazing. Rapunzel is amazing. As you can see, I've been using these ones quite a bit. Rapunzel is like so damn buttery though. Do you see that? That pigmentation is like insane. That one is Rapunzel right there. And then I also really love Cupcake, which is this really pretty matte pink shade, which I used so much throughout the year. I need to like clean off my hands a little bit more. Let's just swatch that one more time. Cupcake is, oh my god. Alright, let's start wiping my hands off a little bit. I feel like everything is staining my hand recently that like you can't really see anything. Yeah, that's better. That's why I bring the makeup wipes in my room after I swatch like 10 gajillion eyeshadows. I have like an itch. Okay, so this one is Cupcake. And it's like a really gorgeous blushy pink shade. And then I also used Petal Pusher a crap ton this year. It's a little bit darker than Cupcake. It's more of like a mauve-y purple. So pretty on the eyes. And then Cocoa Bear is Bay. I use this shade so much. It's amazing. And then, of course, I have to mention Bitten because it's one of my favorites as well. It's that red shade. I know I'm mentioning these again, but I used these so consistently this year that it's like I have to. This definitely swatches a lot better than how it's swatching right now just because my hand is still wet from the other from the makeup wipe. And then Shimma Shimma. Look at that pigment, man. It's insane. Right here. And then also Desert Sands was one of my favorites as well. I'm just trying to go through them like really quickly. That one is Desert Sands. And then Vanilla Bean, of course, is amazing. Look at that. And it's a really gorgeous vanilla shade right here. So those are the ones I loved from Makeup Geek. And then I also have a few MAC and Anastasia shades in here. But I really just wanted to mention like two MAC shadows. The first one is Nylon, which is right here. I don't know how I didn't own this shadow originally. This is like my all-time favorite MAC shadow besides like All That Glitters and Amber Lights. But this shade right here, it's amazing. Look at that. It's like freaking blinding you. Isn't that amazing? MAC has some phenomenal eyeshadows, like, and then All That Glitters is right next to it, and All That Glitters is literally phenomenal on the lid. That one is right there. It might not look like much when it's swatched, but once you put it on your eyes, it's like gorgeous. So, and then I have to mention Copper Ring because I have to give a shout out to Jaclyn Hill for mentioning this shade. So beautiful. Like, so gorgeous. That one is Copper Ring right there. So those were my favorite MAC shadows this year. And then I have to mention just a couple of Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, which are literally all across the bottom right here. I just want to mention her matte shadows are literally amazing. They are so smooth, so pigmented, so buttery, so blendable. Obviously, you guys know the famous Birkin shade. This is literally her most popular shade. I'm just going to swatch it for you really quickly. Wow, that was a fail taking this out of here because there's like so much eyeshadow in here. And I just want to swatch it right here. That one is Birkin. Amazing. Then there's like these really gorgeous like darker shades. I just have to look what they are right now. I believe this one is Caramel. Yeah, this one is Caramel. Look at that. Caramel and Sienna. Amazing. And then this one is my favorite brown eyeshadow, I think, of all time. It's so blendable, so deep, and it's just so pigmented. That one right there is called Hot Chocolate, I believe. Yeah, it's amazing. I actually like that one over Makeup Geek's Mocha and this MAC shadow right here. So this one is MAC's Brown Down, and this one is MAC's Makeup Geek's Mocha. This one is my favorite out of the three browns. It's phenomenal. So those are those in that palette. And then the other palette, of course, I have to show you some of my Makeup Geek shadows, my dual chrome shades. So let's just show you a couple of them. I just wanted to mention just a few of them. These ones I have to take out of here. Definitely Voltage from one of the dual chrome shadows. Amazing. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to mention a couple of them. The foiled shadow in Fortune Teller is literally to die for. That one right there. Look at that. Look at that. And that one is Voltage. Look how they swatch. Can you even? This one right here is called Charmed from the Makeup Geek Foiled Shadows, which is literally amazing as well. That one right there on the top right here. It's like a silvery green. It's so amazing. Then I have to mention Typhoon from the Dual Chrome Shadows. Look at that. So beautiful. That is that one right there. Look at that. And then I believe this one is called Ritzy, and then Havoc as well. Those are both dual chrome shades. I used these so much this year. That one is Ritzy and that one is Havoc, I'm pretty sure. Amazing eyeshadows. And then the last one that I have for the dual chrome shades. Oh, okay, actually both of these. Steampunk and Blacklight. Amazing. If I even have any more room for any more finger swatches, let's just put them over here. Right there, that steampunk, look at that steampunk shade. And Blacklight, which is a really gorgeous lavender with blue in it. Oh my god, the dual chrome shades are amazing. So let me just wipe some of this shit off of my hand. Alright, now let's get into, oh my god, some ColourPop eyeshadows. And then some eyeliners and mascaras, and then we are done. So these are amazing. I also love Pegasus, which is the gorgeous turquoise shade, and Untamed, which is right here. So I love these foiled shadows. They're phenomenal. And I also love Karma right here. It's a gorgeous, like, yellowish green color. Amazing. And I just wanted to mention probably, like, my top 5 ColourPop shadows this year. I kind of don't want to mention all of these. I'm just going to mention these ones. First off, this shade right here in Liberty is literally amazing. I do have a full swatching and review on my ColourPop shadows, so just go check that out if you want to see full swatches of everything. But this one I have to swatch. I literally have used this so much this year. It's literally like liquid silver. It's amazing. If you are looking for a really pigmented, like, silver eyeshadow, just buy this. Honestly, it's my all-time favorite silver shade now. It sticks to your lid and it just stays there. It's amazing. And then I also love this Slave to Pink shade as well. It's a gorgeous hot pink. This one is a pressed pigment. You guys know I love ColourPop eyeshadows. They're my absolute favorites, and obviously I couldn't go through a video without mentioning them. Like, come on. Come on. And they apply just as pigmented to the actual eyes. So, and then I also, of course, can't go without a day without mentioning my Kathleen Lights eyeshadow. I kind of picked up the wrong shade. I don't think I mentioned this last year because... Actually, probably I did, but this is still my all-time favorite eyeshadow. It's literally phenomenal. I am so full from what we ate, too. We had, like, sushi and whatever. But that's that beautiful, like, bronzy shade. Love that shade. If I can put the caps on. I'm, like, really concentrating, like, really hard. Then, these two shades are probably the most recent ones that I had gotten. The first one is called Stereo, and it's a really beautiful, like, red burgundy shade. That one right there on the top. Like, look at the pigment! You're not going to find any more pigmented eyeshadows than these right here. Like, that's why they're literally the best. And then we have Game Face. Wait, no. Cricket. I almost forgot to mention that one first because this one I got more recently. Again, it's phenomenal. It's more purpley than Stereo, and I feel like you kind of have to dip it more than once. That one is Cricket up there, right there. It's more purpley than Stereo. I feel like I need another tissue or something. Like, these tissues are not doing much for me right now. And then the last one I wanted to mention is called Game Face. And you guys know I love this eyeshadow. I feel like I'm getting eyeshadow literally everywhere, but this one is a really beautiful bronze shade. And that one is right there. I use these so much, and I literally just consistently used my ColourPop shadows literally throughout the whole month just to wear all of them, and every time I wear them, they're beautiful. I also love this one in Porter from Kathleen Lights as well. It's such a gorgeous matte, like, red shade. But it's not really that matte. It has a little bit of glitter in it as well. Oh my god, I love it. That one is right there. she knocked it out of the park with her Kathleen Lights collection. I'm actually wearing one of her lippies today. And then just honorable mentions, Weenie and Flower Shop. Weenie is from the Kathleen Lights collection as well, and Flower Shop is one of the newer ColourPop shadows. I actually have already hit pan on this one, which is crazy. It's a really unique, like, teal green shade. It's beautiful. Let me just swatch this one too. Why not? And then it's the last eyeshadow that I have to swatch for you guys. I can't resist swatching ColourPop shadows. They're phenomenal. So that one is Weenie and that one is Flower Shop. Like, can I just get this tattooed on my hand, please? Thank you so much. So yeah, that's all the ColourPop shadows I wanted to mention. And now let's just move on to some eyeliners and mascaras, and then we'll be done. So I narrowed it down to my top 3 mascaras this year. So I just wanted to give a quick mention to those. Actually, my top 4. I mean, you guys know I love the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash, so I left that out because I have went through like 3 tubes of it, and you guys know I love it. I mention it all the time, but I just wanted to mention my favorite like top lash mascaras. So the first one I wanted to mention, this is probably my favorite one out of the entire year. This one is the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. This one gives your lashes so much of like a false lash effect. It's freaking crazy, and the wand is really cool, and it has like a, I don't know if I want to open this like this because there's like mascara all over it. Oh my god, I can't even open this. Crap. Hold on. Alright, so I got it open. I haven't used it in a little while, but I probably will go back to using it more. It has a really cool, like, curved wand that you can really get at the base of the lashes because it really just, like, kind of looks like the shape of your actual eye, so it kind of molds to what your eyelashes need to do. Why is there so much mascara on this? It's, like, really annoying. And now I can't even close it properly, but I guess we'll just worry about that later after this video is over because I can't deal with that right now. The next one I wanted to mention is the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. This mascara is so good. It really gives your lashes a lot of length, but at the same time it really like volumizes them. And it has a really unique wand to it. It has like kind of a straight wand and then kind of tapers at the bottom. But this mascara is really, really good, and I used this so much this past year when I first got it. Amazing. And I'm mentioning like cheaper ones and more expensive ones. So this one is the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black Mascara. I probably have mentioned this like a million times, but this is like my go-to mascara for like more natural makeup days. And it just gives your lashes so much length and such a beautiful natural effect to the lashes because that has a really thin wand to it. So, love this one too. I do my top and bottom lashes with that mascara. And then my most recent love that I fell in love with like a couple of months ago because I had the sample sizes for like the longest time that I was like, I need to get the full size, is the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara. I've been using it consistently for like the last month and I'm just so in love with it. The only thing that I hate about it is that it does build up so much product on the outside of the mascara. I really need to wash that off because it's really annoying me because it just builds up a lot of mascara on the outside of it, which is not that good. And just, oh my god, can this get out of the way? Okay, and then the eyeliners I wanted to mention. You guys know I love the ColourPop ones, so I didn't want to bore you guys with mentioning them 10 gajillion times. So I just wanted to mention the newest ones that I have tried this year and then just the ones that I use consistently every single day. The first ones I wanted to talk about are the Urban Decay Razor Sharp Longwear Liquid Eyeliners. This one is in the shade Demolition, and this one is in the shade Perversion. You guys know that their black shades are usually always called Perversion. They have this really super thin wand to them. That's why they're called razor sharp, so you can really get them very precise. And they really are beautiful on the eyes. See how thin the applicator is? I also love the packaging. But these are very consistent. They do last pretty long. The black one is so black on your eyes. The only thing that I don't like is that you do have to look down for a little while. Make sure you don't look up in them or they will transfer to your eyes and they won't dry properly. So make sure you don't look up right away or you're going to have eyeliner on your eyes and you're going to be pissed. And then the other ones that I absolutely love that you guys are probably tired of hearing about is that I literally use these every single day, so I can't not mention them. These are the Kat Von D tattoo liners, and I have the shades Trooper and Mad Max Brown. I'm wearing Trooper today. I would have mentioned the Stila ones as well because I love those ones too. But those and these Kat Von D ones are literally my most purchased eyeliners, and I just feel like felt tip eyeliners make it so much easier for you to apply eyeliner and just make it much more precise for you to get a perfect line and make sure that your eyeliner looks good. I just feel like these are so much easier to use than like anything else. I also wanted to mention two of my favorite eyeshadow primers this year. Basically, you're good with using either of these eyeshadow primers, and I use these every single day. I highly, highly, highly recommend the Smashbox 24-Hour Primer. I use this all the time, and I'm pretty much done with this first tube of it. This is probably the first eyeshadow primer that I've used up completely. It's amazing. And then the other one is the MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extended Eye Base. They're both basically dupes for each other. I find that they make my eyeshadow last just as long as the other one. I don't think there's really much of a difference about them, but there are points where I get obsessed with this or I get obsessed with this, and then I like can't stop using either of them, and then it's like I have to bring myself to use the other one. But literally these are both amazing, and yeah, I love Smashbox for primers or anything like that because their products are kick-ass for any type of primer. And MAC, of course, I just fell in love with more and more this year, and I'm really glad that I got this product. So yeah. Okay, and then the last products I wanted to mention really quickly, I almost forgot to mention these. First of all, I just wanted to give a shout out to my MAC Extended Play Cake Black Lash. It's the only bottom lash mascara I ever use. It's amazing, phenomenal. You need this in your life. And I just wanted to mention two brow products. I'm not too huge on brows. Like, I'm not like all about that brow life. Like, as long as my eyebrows look even, because I do have like pretty full eyebrows, that it's like I don't really need to worry about it too much. But both these products are both from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Again, her brow products are fucking bomb. And I finally gave in to buying the Anastasia Brow Definer. And I freaking love this product. It just makes it so easy to fill in your brows. This is like a curved part that you just like kind of just draw it on. And then you just fill it in like this. It makes it so easy to use. And then you just brush it out with the spoolie side and basically your eyebrows are filled in. I am in the shade Caramel. Love this. I use this every single day for my eyebrows. I do not use an eye pencil anymore. And then the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. Cannot go a day without using this. This is my third tube of it that I had purchased this past year because I know when this goes bad. And I've had this probably like a couple of months already. This is literally like hairspray for your eyebrows. Like, I use it every single day. My eyebrows don't go anywhere. And yeah, that is pretty much it. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, CBW819. My Twitter is PokerFace819. And my Snapchat is PokerFace819. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this first installment of my Best in Beauty series. Next, I will probably be talking about face products and like concealers, foundations, blushes, highlights, and bronzers. And then after that, I will do lip products. So yeah, that's it. Bye, guys.